Welcome back to Travel Show Live. We're very fortunate that we got a good couple of minutes with our dear friend Jim Carter from American Airlines. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Eric. It's great to be here.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for letting us come and invade your office this afternoon. I know you're very busy because you have your finger on the pulse of the Northeast Corridor when it comes to aviation. Is that correct?
And it's a big pulse.
It is a big pulse. I think a lot of people forget sometimes, too, the amount of air traffic that goes on from Boston all the way down to Atlanta.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, I actually go even further than that into the Caribbean. Miami is a huge operation for American.
Yeah.
Obviously, New York is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of responsibility, lots of geography.
Yeah, I suppose one of the things when people call the program or they send me email, they always say, why is my flight delayed? I say, well, there's a couple of reasons. There's a lot of planes out there. That's the first one. I think people forget that sometimes. But the nice part today, we've been talking about this during the program today, is you've agreed to help us with these miles. We have acquired miles, we've got miles, we don't know what to do with these miles, there's lots of, so what is a frequent flyer program? Let's start with that. I mean, because some people don't know.
Well, first of all, it doesn't really matter how much you travel. Frequent flyer programs are great. They allow instant reward for your travel, i.e. you get miles.
Right.
Miles build up to things such as free trips, upgrades, and in American's case, in our Advantage program, we have over 1,000 participants.
Okay.
Where you can redeem miles towards hotel stays, car rentals, as I said earlier, upgrades, free tickets.
Okay, very good. So let's go with that too. Let's start with it. How do we redeem the miles?
Well, I'd love to show you that at some point today, how easy it is to do on American Airlines on our website, or for those who would rather just call and have a frequent flyer trip booked, we can provide that service as well.
Some people get critical. A lot of the people who've been accruing miles and acquiring miles over there, they say, oh, it's so hard to use my miles, you know. Did airlines go through a period where, I don't want to say it was difficult, but airlines were like, yeah, whether you use them or not, did they kind of go through a period, and we're kind of coming out of that period where airlines want you using your miles now?
Well, I think the challenge has always been when people want to redeem their miles.
Yeah.
Other people are flying at the same time. So we have high load factors. People want to go around the holidays. So people want to redeem their miles usually when other people are traveling too. And
makes sense.
We have certain number of seats available on every flight, every mark, and it just depends on how far you plan in advance, basically. So there is basically frequent flyers are kind of competing for the same inventory that we would have on any airplane.
And it makes sense. I mean, if American Airlines or any other airline for that matter can sell the seat, they'd much rather sell the seat than to give it away. I mean, that's not a unique situation to American or anybody else.
Yeah, but we do look at our Advantage members that they have earned these miles.
That's a good point.
Therefore, we do try to make inventory available. But
that's a good point, though.
Planning in advance, because you are competing for the same inventory as everybody else on the airplane.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm happy. Now, what about, I see these times, the American Airlines and other, they'll partner with other ways. You can earn miles doing are there other things we can be doing to earn miles with American?
On American, you can stay at some of our hotel partners. You can rent cars from some of the car rental companies that we do business with. American happens to be the founding member of our One World Alliance, so there's over 700 destinations and over 10 carriers, part of One World, that you can actually earn and redeem miles on.
Oh, that's really smart. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because is it better to have miles with one airline, or is it better to have miles with lots of airlines?
With just American Airlines.
Just American. I was wondering if he was going to say that. That's good. But actually, in all seriousness, a lot of people ask why we fly American a lot, and I always say, of course I say because of the great service. And I said, but it's a numbers game. I mean, American Airlines flies lots of places that we fly out of New York, so you're going to end up flying on a big carrier like American. But that being said, getting miles on other airlines is hard to do if you're not. You have to really fly a lot.
You have to invest.
Yeah,
in
you really do.
Time in a network, and it really depends on where you live. I mean, if you live in a place where one carrier dominates, you certainly want to be in that carrier's frequent flyer program. But in most cities, there are a number of carriers that service different cities and so forth. So you do want to get the biggest bang for your buck. You want to invest in the right frequent flyer program that's going to give you not only the most destinations, but you'll be flying on the most.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense too, because you can also do like a credit card partner.
Yes.
Where you can be making purchases like we do on the program, right? Is it Citibank or one of them?
Citibank Advantage, where every dollar you spend on the card gives you a mile.
Oh, well, that's pretty easy.
I do that for my parents.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I do that all the time. I guess it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Do the other carriers have a system like this, or is this, we're sort of pioneering, Americans really stepping up and saying we've got to address this problem, and this is the solution, right?
Well, American was the first, and we were the first frequent flyer program, and we have since then started with other enhancements to the program. So yes, the functionality I'm about to show you is the first in the industry.
All right, Jim, explain exactly how we do this. Now, if I've got whatever X number of miles, I want to use them, I go to AA.com, what do I do?
Okay, well here we are at AA.com. I'm just going to go click on Advantage first of all.
Yep.
And I am going to click on Redeem Miles.
That's easy. It didn't used to be this easy.
And I've already put in here JFK LA going out on the 27th of September, coming back on October 25th. I'm just going to hit go. You would type in your cities.
Right, whatever it is.
Example.
Makes sense.
And it's just going to take a second, and it's going to pull up the Advantage availability for free tickets.
Okay.
Free space, if you will. And it will show you exactly what how many miles it will take based on flights or dates that you select. So here's my dates I selected. Departing New York JFK on Sunday the 27th and returning on October 25th. Now you'll see in this award legend, depending on how many miles I want to use, it will display across the top. It shows the availability of the calendar here.
Nice.
And for example, the date I wanted to go out on the 27th of September, I can choose a economy mile saver program, which is basically a one-way economy ticket.
Sure.
And shows me where the availability is going out one way. So I'm just going to click on the 27th, going outbound.
All right.
And I'm going to click on the return. I'm going to click on the, I wanted to come back on October 25th, so I'll just click on October 25th.
Yep.
And I'm going to hit continue. And again, it just shows me the dates where, and it's color coded, so it shows you basically what is available on those dates. And it'll give you a range. If your day that you selected is not available, it may be a day before or a day after, just depending on the award category.
That's nice.
So
that way you don't have to be on the phone with some reservation person saying, well, what about the 23rd? What about the 25th? Well, I mean, that would take up a bunch of time.
Exactly. So then it will display to you the flights and the dates that is available for that award. Now, this particular day, this is actually taking me from Newark to Chicago and then Chicago Orange County, opposed to the nonstop. But I could go through and actually unclick some of these other airports here and say, just put me on the nonstop. When is the nonstop available for an economy anytime award? So you can see here it's 25,000 miles, basically for a round trip economy. 50,000 miles if you want to go business or first class. And then again, there's other award types here as well, just depending on how far you're planning in advance, or if you would like last seat availability, which means an anytime award. As long as we have a seat on an airplane, it's yours.
All right, since I have you here too, while we're on the subject, is it hard to be an airline today in 2009? I'm asking you.
Well,
right? If you don't mind, I don't. You know, you can say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that." It's fine by me. But is it?
Well, when my kids tell me what they want to be when they grow up, I say, "Well, don't do this."
Yeah. But was there a time in aviation when it was fun to be an airline?
Well,
I'm not saying we're not having fun. You know that my point.
The industry is very challenged between volatile fuel prices, lots of competition, the global economy. Certainly, are all kind of moving pieces in this.
Yeah.
The airlines aren't any more immune than General Motors or other companies right now. We're all feeling the impact, but. Most of us are very passionate about this business. It's something we really believe in. We believe in the mission of moving people and closer together into commerce of business, etc. So yes, it's a very challenging business, but it can also be a very rewarding business. I've been doing it for nearly 30 years, and I hope to do it another 20.
Yeah, right. At least 20. Okay, that's good. Because I noticed too, we see the headlines. Of course, headlines are always easy when it's negative news and it's hard news. That makes for good news. But I also like seeing the headlines of major carriers like American, because it's not easy for an airline to change quickly. You know, that's something that consumers have a hard time understanding, that, you know, you might make a modification on a plane and it could take a year before somebody sees that on all the planes. You know what I mean? So, but I do like seeing things like, you know, American Airlines starting to put Wi-Fi on their planes. They're starting, I mean, that program is already underway. It's still, it's coming. And, you know, it's here and it's coming system-wide. I like seeing. And then what is this double miles thing for New Yorkers? It's a selfish thing because I live in New York. What's that all about?
Well, for the tri-state area, we just kicked off double miles this week. So any trip that an Advantage member takes between now and the end of the year, they will get double miles. Their trip does not even have to start out of New York.
Oh, nice.
Any resident of the tri-state area can earn double miles no matter where their trips take them.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir, for doing this today.
Eric, thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. We'll be right back. Travel Show Live.